Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I am going to dive on in and take a first look at Cults of RuneQuest, the Lightbringers, from Chaosium Inc. It's written by Greg Stafford and Jeff Richards. This 168-page hardcover is available now. Carries an MSRP of $39.99, which includes the PDF if you order from Chaosium Inc. Or if you just want to grab the PDF alone, you can do so over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. So let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Lightbringers. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this shrink wrap off. And a few things I do want to mention regarding Cults of RuneQuest, the Lightbringers. First of all, the fine folks over at Chaosium Inc. were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page inside this volume, but I do want to get a good feel for what's in the Lightbringers. And then lastly, it is possible that we might run across some nudity in this book. I know I've seen some of the artwork from the Cults of RuneQuest series. We see some of the goddesses topless, which, I mean, it's not there to titillate. It's there because it's supposed to be a Bronze Age fantasy role-playing game, and historically, if you look at Earth's pantheon of deities, at that point in time, you did see quite a lot of nude sculptures as far as the goddesses and, gods as well. So just want to point that out. So I don't want anybody to freak out if we see like a topless image in this book. So let's take a look at the back here. Challenge your foes, fulfill your fate. Cults of RuneQuest, the Lightbringers is the player's guide to the gods of the storm. This book covers the mythology of the Lightbringer pantheon of gods and provides mechanics for each of the cults to create your RuneQuest adventurer. Of course, it's going to tell us what's in the book. We're not going to read through that because we're going to take a peek. So let's jump on inside. And we've got a lot of interior artists, so give them some credit here. I'm pretty excited by this new series of the Cults of RuneQuest books because they are really going to delve deeply into the pantheon of gods for RuneQuest. So it looks as if we're going to get a breakdown on each of the cults that are devoted to these deities. I believe there are 16 contained within the Lightbringers. So what's in this book? This supplement describes 19, well, look at that, 19, I thought it was 16, different Gloranthan cults and deities for the RuneQuest role-playing game. Myths, history, organization, associate cults, and rules-oriented information are given for each cult. Sufficient information is provided for players or game masters to use all these cults. This book is one in a series of books that give a detailed overview of Gloranthan mythology and religion for RuneQuest. So it is talking about the subject matter, organization, themes, the mythos, songs of the storm voice. Gods of the Lightbringers. Where did the world come from? First was silence. It contained everything within it, still one. The wonder of the universe that would come after. It was a being without beginning and without end. Within it was contained consciousness and being without end. It was the source, the egg of life, the source of wonder. From it was born Glorantha. Glorantha was the mother of the world. She bore from within herself the first race of deities. They were of three types: the Council of Pairs, the elemental deities, and the elder gods. These are not deities whom we know or would care to know, and they have failed to be preserved through the passage of time. Yet they were the first, the source of the things that were to follow, and we must revere them, for they are our ancestors and the ancestors of the cosmos. So talking about the other gods, then we're going to get a short breakdown of each of the deities, it looks like. So the goddess of nature, the liberator, the healer, the herd mother, the wild hunter. So these are the gods of storm. So there are quite a few of them. Each of them do not have a cult associated with them, though. We've got a genealogy of the Lightbringers, the deities labeled. This is very cool. And throughout, the artwork is going to be outstanding, as you can see here. So we have Orlanth, the storm god, chieftain, warrior. He's king of the gods and ruler of the universe. He is the god of storm who uses lightning, winds, clouds, rain, and thunderbolts as his weapons. He is the god of heroes, leader of the Lightbringers, who saved Glorantha. Orlanth is the most powerful of the gods and is willing to fight to prove it. Looks like we have quite a lot of setting information as well. So this is discussing the cult itself. I would have to say that this is a very important cult because, of course, Orlanth is the leader of the storm gods. So then we get some rune magic, command priests, command worshipers, detect honor. So it looks as if we've got a good number of pages devoted to each of these cults. We have Vinga. Vinkat was the son of Orlanth. He was the first king of men and received the sword and helm from Orlanth as a sign of his justice and kingship. He defeated the Sky Bear and built his palace atop its body. Vinkat married two daughters of Azarola and her consort Tada, called the Summer Wife and the Winter Wife. Their 10 children founded the tribes of the Vinkorlings. Vinkorlings expanded far to the west along the coast, as far as the Western Sea and deep into the Greerwood, and then northwards where they fought many wars with the sun-worshipping Darahapans. Vinkat was killed fighting in the greater darkness, but his body was immolated so his soul would forever be free and within the call of his descendants and followers. So we're getting a breakdown of the various members of that cult. So we have flood, hailstones. Those are some of the new spells. We have Shalana Arroy, goddess of compassion. Shalana Arroy is the daughter of Glorantha herself. This merciful goddess is both a Lightbringer and a member of Yelm's household. She knows how to heal all diseases and wounds, and even healed the sun and the world after the greater darkness. Her worship is widespread, for everyone desires her blessings. So we're just going to take a peek through, and we'll kind of get an idea of each of these cults. So one thing I always point out about RuneQuest, and I have many RuneQuest videos out there. So I have why you should play RuneQuest. I've got reviews of the core set of books that come in a slipcase if you want to pick it up that way. The starter set that is fantastic from Chaosium Inc. So if you're looking to learn more about RuneQuest, by all means, I have quite a few videos for you to check out. And I have to say, Glorantha has to be, if not the most detailed, it is one of the most detailed fantasy role-playing settings ever created. Greg Stafford just did wonderful work with Glorantha, and Jeff Richards really picked up the baton and run with it as far as heading up RuneQuest over at Chaosium Inc. So we have Ermal, the trickster. Though armed with divine energy and power, this troublemaker is a jester and a fool, his tricks altering the world in unforeseen ways. His pranks have seemingly equal chances to create or destroy. Ermal can be helpful, as illustrated when he distracted the gate guards of hell so that the Lightbringers could slip by. But more often, he is malicious, such as when he ate all the flying raccoon babies. Damn you, Ermal, eating all those raccoon babies because they could fly. He is just as often the scapegoat or the butt of jokes as he is the prankster. Kind of a Loki figure, it seems to be. And some of the magic, we've got crack, fumble, scram. This spell multiplies the user's move by the number of rune points put into it. That's kind of cool. Iseres, the god of communication. Iseres is the god of communication, roads, and trade, and is one of the 7 Lightbringers. His worshippers are merchants, traders, caravanners, travelers, and heralds. The cult's language, trade talk, was spread by the god learners and is spoken as the second language throughout much of Glorantha. Iseres is often worshipped apart from the Orlanthi pantheon. His cult is located throughout most of the civilized world. Looks like got a decent amount of page space devoted to this cult. We have Mind Bridge. This spell allows mind-to-mind transmission of conscious thoughts between 2 people, as long as the target is no farther from the caster than 1,000 meters per point of the spell. Lancorme. Of course, you know I'm mispronouncing just about all of these deities' names. Because that's my thing, right? I mispronounce fictional people, places, and things. This is the knowing god. Lancorme is the god of the Grey Lords, the sages of Glorantha, keeper of the laws, scribe of the immortals, and history singer are his titles. He is one of the 7 Lightbringers, and during that epic quest, he inherited, found, fought for, and stole many pieces of the old powers, preserving them safely until time began. He even holds the sacred stone scrolls, forged in the underworld to hide the secrets of the compromise from immature souls. Even so, his knowledge is not complete, and he and his cult ever thirst for more. And we've got a bookmark here. Barntar, the plow god. Barntar, the plow god, is the son of Orlanth and Ernalda. He typifies the farmer's tasks at the plow and the field. So we're going to take just one of these deities, and I will actually kind of take a deeper dive into what is included in these sections. We have Foundchild, the hunter. Foundchild was discovered as a squalling babe during the Great Winter. Earthwitch found and tended him to full manhood. He taught a straggling band of followers how to use the weapons of war, bows, spears, and stones, to bring life by killing animals to eat. Gagarth, the wild hunter. Gagarth rides across all the worlds, seeking lost or lonely spirits as food for his hunt. He rides a demon steed that gallops upon air, land, or sea, and he's armed with a long-reaching barbed spear. His companions include slavering spirit wolves and a howling crowd of dead followers. We have Heller, the rain god. Heller, the blue god, is Orlanth's loyal friend, though subordinate to him. They are the rain god and brings rain wherever their liege directs. So we'll use this as an example to kind of take a deeper dive. So we get mythos and history. So discussion of the mythos before time and then since time began. The nature of the cult. So as an example, the reason for continued existence. Heller is the rain god. They are primarily worshipped through the Orlanth Thunderous cult, although they do have some independent temples of their own. Heller loyally follows their liege wherever the Storm King goes, and thus rain accompanies Storm. Heller plays a necessary role in Glorantha's hydrological cycle. Water gathers in the air and falls to the earth as rain, which feeds lakes and rivers, thereby replenishing the oceans. Heller is the god of that process and is part of the cosmic compromise. Now we have an organization, how this cult is organized. So it says there are a few temples. They're center of power and holy places, as well as holy days and high holy days. Lay membership, initiate membership, God talkers, rune priesthood, you'd be a rain priest. Different subservient cults, associated cults. We get some miscellaneous notes as well. We have Humakt, god of death and war. Humakt is death. When Irmel found the first sword called Death, Humult saw its use, and with it he slew Grandfather Mortal, the first to die. Humult used death to sever his kinship with the air to maintain his honor and purity. He is the unyielding fate of all living creatures, both mortal and divine. Humult is a frightening but necessary agent of eternal change who can be used in a courageous and noble way to preserve the world. Oh, that's very nice. We have Landbril, the god of thieves. Landbril was a near-human resident of the Spike during God time. He was scorned by more ancient and powerful gods who had vastly superior magic. In revenge, Landbril secretly robbed and inconvenienced the gods who had spurned him. Landbril is now worshipped by thieves and other lowly types in most large cities of South Central Genertella. So your rune lord would be a master thief. We have Mestakos, the god of movement. Mestakos was captured by Orlanth at Deliath's Well of Wisdom. Mestakos continually travels over all the world, but whenever he is called by Orlanth, he instantly appears to serve him. He is rarely worshipped in his own right. Odala, the Sky Bear. Odala is worshipped by hunters, warriors, and those who must survive in the wilderness. He is best known for his hunt of the great Sky Bear. The Storm Bull, the Chaos Killer. Storm Bull is the god of berserks. He is the desert wind, the raw power of righteousness and purifying rage. The primary purpose of the Storm Bull is to prevent the rise of the devil or any associated form of chaos. Storm Bull is beloved by the Praxians and tolerated even in many civilized lands because he is so skilled against the forces of chaos. Where chaos is active, Storm Bull is a popular cult. Should also mention, as far as these Cults of RuneQuest books, you don't need to purchase all of them because essentially it's whatever deities you want to use in your version of Glorantha is fine. So you're going to have quite a few options here because all in all, off the top of my head, if I remember correctly, there are going to be 10 of these Cults of RuneQuest books. We already saw the kind of encyclopedia, which was the first release. And then I think we've got a couple of releases that are going to be in this line that aren't going to necessarily tackle specific cults. So we have Velind, god of winter. Velind is a son of Vedris and a slave goddess. He is the source of the winter powers that sweep over the earth from the north. In the Storm Age, he ruled most of the world, and even today, he wields great power. He is feared throughout the lands of the north as the god of the great glacier. So it looks as we're getting further into the book, even though it appears they were sort of alphabetical, we are running across deities that are receiving only a few pages. So we have Waha, the Butcher. Vaha is the god of the animal nomads of Prax and the wastelands. His cult provides the basic lifestyle and survival needs for the tribes of Prax. It carefully explains what each man must do to survive and determines the social order within the tribe. Ig, the roaring god. Ig is the son of Vedras and the sea goddess Neliomi. He is a destructive and terrifying storm god that sends raging winds and icebergs to test his worshippers and destroy his enemies. Although his father and brothers were tamed or destroyed in the god's war, Yig was never conquered. Now he cares only for his worshippers. Yinkin, the cat god. The god of cats is a half-brother to Orlanth, born of the same mother, Carofin. The animal god served as Orlanth's friend and ally through all his wars and is honored among the gods for it. Yinkin has a very small cult and is normally worshipped through Orlanth as an associated cult. Shadow cats are sacred to the Yinkin cult, and Orlanthi are forbidden from harming these creatures. I think this might be the last of our deities. Yes, it was. And then we've got our index. And that will wrap up Cults of RuneQuest, the Lightbringers from Chaosium Inc. Of course, I'm going to have a review of this in the very near future. This 168-page hardcover is available now. Once again, it carries an MSRP of $39.99. You also get the PDF if you order from Chaosium Inc. Now, if you only want the PDF alone, you can grab that over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. All right, let's swing back on over to the other camera. Pretty impressive. I apologize. I guarantee I mispronounced at least half of these Gloranthan deities. But I think RuneQuest is so cool. It really is a very, very unique role-playing game setting. And if you've never checked RuneQuest out, you really owe it to yourself to take a peek, especially if you're looking for a fantasy role-playing setting that is unlike the usual European sort of medieval fantasy that we see all the time. So once again, I'll have a review of this pretty soon. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like the video, by all means, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when I upload first looks like this one, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for joining me. And until I see you next time, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.